with breathing, the second we get into quote unquote poor sitting posture and we have those rounded shoulders and we have that forward neck, we start to use neck muscles and we start to use our upper traps and we start to use all these muscles that attach to our upper ribs to pull, and that breeds neck pain, that breeds other things, and then that's going to lead to pain and cortisol increases.
Welcome to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger, where we help you bridge the gap between pain and performance. Each week, we'll share strategies, insights, and real-life applications to help you keep moving and stay driven. Now, let's get into this week's episode of the Movement Driven Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Movement Driven Podcast. I'm Dara, and I'm here with Dr. Greg. Dr. Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We are a couple days away from Valentine's Day.
Yes.
I hope that you have something already set up for your wife.
I do. That sounded like you didn't expect me to. I have reservations to do and things.
Fun.
Hey, I'm a romantic.
Yeah, well, you got great kids. I would think so. Something, guys. So I did something right. Amazing. Yeah, so Doug and I, this will be our first Valentine's Day as husband and wife. So since we decided...
You know what you're doing, or is that a surprise?
Oh, no, I planned it.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. We opted into keeping our honeymoon dates in the month of April, which was when our original... Yeah. So we decided, aka I decided, that I wanted us to do a little mini moon. So we are going to go up to Charleston for Valentine's Day weekend, and I made sure...
you should stop now, because mine's not this...
Well, this can be ideas for next year if anybody needs them. But I will say it's crazy how far in advance that you have to book things, because I literally had a list of like 7 different recommendations from people for restaurants. Mm-hmm. And like it was until restaurant 5 that I was like able to be like, oh, cool, 4:30. Right. That's Valentine's dinner.
Exactly. That's why we just go like the night after most of the time.
Yeah. And this is we're not even going until the day after. So we are, but weekend. And evidently I just wanted to go to Charleston because Doug had never been there. I'm a Hilton vacation member, and they just got a new place there. So I was like, cool, let's use some points. Let's go to Charleston. Mm-hmm. Come to find out in further research that this is like the most romantic like location and like one of the top 10 in this country. Sure. So I was like, oh, okay.
That's what they say.
Well, that's what all the
articles I read say. I hope it is.
But it should be fun anyway. So we're excited about it. But speaking of love and Valentine's Day and relationships, today's episode, we really want to talk about loving your body, which also leans into loving your posture. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody fix your posture, as I just talked about that. I know I just did. I see you did.
Right before he said it. So I knew it was coming.
Yes. So, let's talk a little bit about, from the PT perspective and just from what you teach your patients and things like that, how posture impacts things like breathing, energy, and even body confidence. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, those are 3 big ones. I think, like in general, most of what we do as physical therapists is treating the posture or the bad posture. We're constantly doing anti-posture exercise. And what I mean by that is we all lived in what we refer to as these flex postures, right? I'm on my computer, I'm flexing forward, I'm flexed at the hips, I'm typing. And a lot of the exercises, especially early on in rehab, is a lot of extension and moving out of that position. So from a musculoskeletal standpoint, a lot of the things we're doing is trying to make sure that you can sustain postures better, and understand what good posture even is. Like some people, like I had somebody today, we're working on her squat, and she was having a tough time finding a neutral pelvis. And so that's a little more dynamic, but not having a neutral pelvis in a seated position leads to, well, if I let that pelvis round, it's going to go through the entire spine. Then I'm hunched forward, rounded shoulders, head drifts forward. I still have to look up to function, and now I have neck pain. And it's all because I just sat my pelvis in a weird position at my desk. So a lot of it is full body, and we have to make sure that we're teaching and educating our patients on what good posture is. Now, if we take that to your question, breathing, and energy, and then confidence. So the confidence I'll hit first. Who has the worst posture? The teenage boys. Who needs the best posture? The teenage boys. And I tell them all the time, like, the girls want you to sit up straight. You just walk in there with your shoulders back and your head held tall, and that tells a lot about you as a person.
You won't even need the flippy hair.
That's what I'm saying. Don't get me started. But I think I see a lot of kids that, you know, I was like this, very shy and to myself, and posture breeds that. I think you see with young girls that are taller. They don't want to be the tallest girl in class, and their posture suffers because of that. So these are real issues that are stemming from confidence or breeding a lack of confidence from the posture, and there's a circular effect there. So I think that's a big thing that people don't really talk about or think about, but it is something I take note of quite often. And then from a breathing and energy standpoint, I think those things go hand in hand. I think maybe the confidence also breeds energy. If you're sitting up taller, I think there's something of that mind over matter concept. But from a pure energy standpoint of are we getting oxygen into our lungs well? So with breathing, the second we get into quote unquote poor sitting posture, and we have those rounded shoulders and we have that forward neck, or we have a compressed belly, we're not letting the diaphragm expand the way it's meant to, and that's our main muscle of inspiration. We're not letting the rib cage and the intercostal muscles in between open up the way that they need to be those secondary muscles of inspiration. So what do? We start to use neck muscles, and we start to use our upper traps, and we start to use all these muscles that attach to our upper ribs to pull, and that breeds neck pain, that breeds other things, and then that's going to lead to pain, and cortisol increases. And then from a standpoint of if I don't have good mobility of those ribs and things, then I'm not going to be able to take adequate deep breaths, and maybe I'm breathing a little more shallow, kind of towards the spectrum of hyperventilation, when we think quick, shallow breaths. What that does is it starts to increase the level of CO2 within our body. And if we have more CO2, then we have less oxygen from a percentage ratio standpoint. And that's going to lead to more acidity in our tissues, which can lead to more pain and more cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So there's a whole slew of things that can happen just by you not sitting in good posture.
Yeah. No, to your point about that, when I was, kind of first getting diagnosed with adult asthma, I had a couple breathing things I had to do as a kid, but like I always just thought and was told by especially my parents, like, just work on your cardio more. Like you just have you can breathe, you're fine, you're being a hypochondriac, like whatever. And so my whole life I was like, oh well, it's just because the cardio is not good. I just gotta get better at the cardio.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I turned 30 years old and I am like hyperventilating and like not understanding why I cannot breathe. I go see a doctor and he's like, oh yeah, no, like you have 30% capacity in your lungs.
Yeah.
Like,
Great.
So from
30.
Yeah, 30%. They do a test where you breathe into the machine, then they give you albuterol to do. So you do
see how much more you got.
Yeah,
and
it was like literally like
doubled it.
Yeah,
more than double.
Double.
Triple.
Yeah. So it was crazy, and then so now I have my inhaler and it's improved and everything else. But while I was going through that, was also going through this thing of like not understanding why no matter what I was doing, eating healthy, working out, and everything else, I wasn't losing body fat, and it just kept going up, and I just didn't understand why I'm doing all of the right things, but because of, not being able to breathe and all of that stuff, it was just like, that was like impacting so many things.
Yeah. Your hormonal system is completely out of whack. And I think that could be an underlying issue, maybe not breathing itself, but there's so many other sleep and other things that go into our overall health that people don't really consider.
Yeah. No, it's just crazy. But just to, kind of continue the posture conversation as well. I think especially Americans, with desk posture, we are always at our desk. We're always, on our phone, we're always kind of just slouched over, hunched over, and not really doing anything to, considerately fix ourselves unless maybe we hear a commercial or, we watch a TikTok video and we kind of fix it from that point. So when we're talking about those things, like what are some things that, just the average American going to work 9 to 5 every day, that they can be taking into consideration when they are doing those things?
Yeah. And I'll even add to that, as Americans, it's not just the desk, right? Like think about how often you're sitting or in that flex posture I talked about at the beginning, right? So you sleep, and many of us might sleep on our side in a fetal position. Well, you're in a flex posture. Then you get up and you maybe go to the toilet and you sit down, flex posture again. I'm going to eat breakfast in a flex posture. I'm going to drive to work in a flex posture. I'm going to work, most of us, in a flex posture. And even those who are standing or doing there's still postural things that are affecting you. And so we all live in these flexed postures. We need to build the opposite direction. That's kind of what I was saying before. A lot of the things that we do exercise wise to prevent neck pain and back pain and things of prolonged sitting is causing is work on extension of the body. Now, that's where you got to come see the expert to really get your routine that's customly built for you. Now, generic tips, I think everybody knows you should get up out of your seat once every so often. I have people come in and they're like, once every 1 or 2 hours I get up. I personally like to see that as like once every 45 minutes. Now, I'm not saying you have to take a 5-minute break and go do a bunch of exercises, but even if it's just a stand up, doing some certain breathing exercises or doing some type of extension in terms of activating some of the postural muscles in the back to keep the shoulder blades back, keep the head up tall, that's going to lead to not having the basically the lack of blood flow and these buildup of we call it like ischemic pain. A lot of the time I think posture breeds ischemic pain. What do I mean by that? People come in and they think, oh, I have an injury, so I have inflammation. If you have pain from prolonged posture, it's usually that there's not enough blood flow and oxygen getting to the tissue. So it's the opposite of too much inflammation. It's not enough blood flow, so we call it ischemic. And I think that's a lot of what people are having in chronic pain. So just to get up and move around and do a few shoulder blade squeezes is going to push some blood flow into the right areas and prevent that potentially. So I think frequently getting up and moving around is huge. Obviously making sure that you're ergonomically set up the right way. If you are desk bound to the computer, that's find an expert if you don't know if you're set up the right way. But I think that's my main thing is just get up and move around, set an alarm on your phone. Don't wait until you're in pain because then you're retraining your nervous system to expect pain at an hour, even if you've made those improvements. Right. So you want to kind of beat it to the punch. But ergonomic setup, frequent breaks, sounds super simple, but nobody really does it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, not to say like, oh, here's another thing you got to go purchase, but wearing wearable tech is very helpful. I will say I currently have an iWatch, but before the iWatches got kind of big and boomed, I did have a Fitbit, and even just like the regular skinny one, it would be like every hour, it would be like stand up, right, or whatever, and then still with the iWatch,
don't just dismiss it,
right? There's it's like almost every maybe it's like on the 50 mark of every hour, it'll be like, especially if you have not reached a certain stand goal, like there is a 12-hour stand goal every single day with the Apple Watch specifically. That's just what I currently use. Right. That's what I can reference. But it will remind you like, hey, time to stand, like get another time for your stand goal. And it'd be like, you can stand up for like 3 minutes. And it's like, great.
Right.
Good job.
Better than nothing. Yeah. And that's all you need. And I think every 2 hours you should take that 10-minute walk around the office or go do some other task that you can do to get out of that position. Better for the eyes and all that kind of stuff too, if you're on the computer screen. And then when you said wearable tech, it actually brought another thing to mind. There's actually devices that you can buy that sit on the back of your upper back. And if you fall out of a certain inclination or past a certain degree, it'll start to vibrate just like your phone. It's just to remind you to sit up a little straighter. If you don't want to invest in that and have a little thing on your back, well, this is for people that really have poor posture and really need to work on it. Even using like KT tape and taping it from your trap, putting some stretch and just going down your paraspinals on either side of the spine. Well, if you're in good posture and you pull it on a stretch, then the second you fall out of that posture, you're going to feel that tape pull your skin. So it's that tactile cue of just getting you in the habit of being here. And it's something you got to work on in the immediate, but ultimately we have to do that to get out of that musculoskeletal pain that we see so many people coming with.
No, for sure. That's actually a really great tip. I might have to try the KT version.
KT said the cheap version. KT is super expensive too, though.
Well, it's just maybe borrow it from a PT that I know.
Oh, I think I got some right there.
Just kidding. All right, awesome. Well, I think that we can kind of start to wrap up here, but just wrapping up with that theme of loving your body, loving your posture. We want to kind of just remind you that, like, obviously there's way more things that you can do to love yourself than just fix your posture, but loving your body does start with how you move throughout the day. So if you're able to get a little bit of movement in, like the famous Elwood says, endorphins make you happy, or exercise give you endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. So
I'll tell that to Brianna. One more thing over here talking. I think we focus so much on sitting posture because so many of us have to do it for work.
Yes.
But standing posture is a thing too. Like if you are doing a sit to stand desk, which I do recommend, but even just standing flat footed for a long period of time is not necessarily good. So the recommendation there would be to have a little step stool and put one foot on the step and then switch. So you're kind of going back and forth and then stand even posture at some time. But you don't want to do the weight shift thing.
Right.
You want to be up tall through your hips. A lot of the time we see glute medius weakness. And those are the people who just kind of shift and just rest on a joint and then shift back.
I do that.
You see a lot of, everybody does it. But if you have a step stool and you put one foot up and then that one hip is really working, you're doing a nice glute med exercise. So to the marathon runners out there, super important to have endurance in that muscle. And then I'll add further, sleeping posture is a question I get all the time. Like, what's the best position to sleep in, Dr. Greg? Well, pick your poison. You sleep on your stomach, your neck doesn't like it. Some low backs don't like it. You sleep on your side, shoulders don't like it. You sleep on your back, backs don't always like it unless you elevate it. There's just so many things that, I can't get comfortable. Well, it's more about finding good pillows that fit your size and then kind of moving, using a pillow to hug for the shoulder when you're on your side, putting things like a wedge under your legs if you are a back sleeper. So there's things to navigate around. But it is also hard to do things while you're sleeping. So it's a hard thing to fix. But I just want to touch on those two things. So I think that would be good for our audience to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that we did a great job kind of talking about some stuff. It's a great topic. If you are looking for somebody to help you with those posture fixes and different things that you can do, you can get a movement assessment by Dr. Greg. You can either send us a message on social media or go visit our website, movementdriven.com. And then the booking calendar for a discovery call is right on the website. So go ahead and book a call with Dr. Greg and then learn a little bit more about what you can do to love your body and love your posture. Thanks, Dr. Greg. I think this was a great one, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger. Want to see how we're helping people in Jacksonville bridge the gap between pain and performance? Head on over to movementdriven.com. Until next time, keep moving, stay driven.